Hey honeys, it's Sunny and I'm back with another video. In this brow tutorial, I'm going to be describing in full detail how I achieve these brows and how I manipulate them to be whatever shape I want them to be, whenever I want them to be. So if you're interested, please keep on watching, and if you learn anything new, please thumbs this video up and make sure you're subscribed and that you're a part of the Honey family. Let's get started. I grab my eyebrow pomade and my angled brush. I begin by dipping my angled brush into the pomade and filling in the brow from the beginning. I add more product to the tail end and then work my way up to the front. I use a very large amount of pomade for this achieved look. I then use a spoolie to make sure the front is all blended out. I complete the same steps on the other side. Because I do have a cut, I fill it in completely. The reason why I do this is because I don't want to risk the chance of not filling it in and then having the cut be too wide for my liking. So, I fill it in all the way and then conceal it. I just continue to fill out the tail end, adding more product as I go. I then continue to fill out my brows and spoolie them so that way then they're completely blended. I like for the tail ends and for the fill-ins to be messy so that way then when I go up and clean it up with concealer, it has the perfect shape that I want. I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. And the first step that I do is very, very carefully add product to the lower part of the brow. I then drag that product out until halfway. I then add some more product for the halfway arch, and then I get down to the tail end and drag that product out as well. The trick for me is to use as little product as possible. Then I can add more as I go and not have to take away from putting too much. I then continue to try to make that line as sharp as possible for my liking. I then take the rest of that concealer in Fawn and drag it down so that way then it can dry by the time I'm done with the other brow. I also make some last finishing touches to the brow. Working on the right brow, I do the same thing as I did on the left. I start out with very minimal product and try to drag it out until the arch. Once I get to the arch, that's when I add some more product and then drag it down to the tail end of the brow. I then take the rest of the concealer and put it down. I'm so sorry I'm out of frame for this, y'all, but basically I took a very sharp brush and I took some concealer and just made that line out. I already used a razor to cut the hair in between there, so it's easy as pie to make that line. I then add more concealer to make it sharper. Using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Espresso, I begin to conceal the tops of my brows. The reason why I use the shade Espresso is because it's the closest to the shade of my foundation and it will match perfectly. It won't give me that halo eyebrow effect, and instead it will give me the illusion of a lifted eye. I start out with the top of the brow and then I begin to drag it out, again using the same process that I did with the bottom of the brow. Using very minimal product, dragging it out, and then adding more as need be. Again, adding that product, dragging it out, and then adding more product when need be. Look at those brows, y'all. Yes. Then I add the rest of the concealer to the tops of my brows just to be extra. Taking my foundation brush, I begin to blend out the concealer that was sitting there while I worked on concealing the top of my brows. As I begin to blend it out, you can see that it gave me a very lifted eyebrow effect. I don't prefer to use the same color concealer on the top of my brows because I don't like that halo look on myself personally. If you like that look, that's fine, but for me, that's not the look that I'm going for. After I apply eyebrow gel, my eyebrows are set and they are ready to take on the world. Thank you for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial.